Welcome to Insights into Northeast Michigan, a WBKB News public affairs program. Insights deals with the issues affecting those within the community, as well as Northeast Michigan and the state. And now, Insights into Northeast Michigan.
Welcome to Insights. I'm Sherry Stewart. This week we're coming to you from US 23 in Harrisville. Now traffic is moving along nicely right now, but that will change in another couple hours as the Michigan Department of Transportation gets underway with a rebuild project. Now the project has been in the works for some time. It's no surprise to folks in the area, but naturally residents and certainly businesses are concerned about the potential impact. Today we're speaking with a representative from MDOT, and later we'll hear from the president of the Alcona County Chamber of Commerce. Joining me now to tell us all about the project is Garrett Daw. You are a manager with MDOT and also spokesperson for this particular project. So thank you for spending time with us today.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
So I know the project has been in the works for some time. No surprise to anyone, but obviously folks are still nervous about the project. So why is this necessary?
Well, we can certainly understand why folks would be nervous about a project like this. It is necessary because the pavement that we're working on was originally built in the 1930s. What you see out there is an asphalt surface, but beneath that is concrete. So it's about 90 years old, and in the springtime we can see some pretty significant freeze-thaw issues, resulting in a very bumpy ride. So simply put, this pavement is ready to be rebuilt, and this is when we're going to do it. Here is the spring.
Yeah, so it's just about 2 miles, so not a very long stretch of highway, but the estimate is about $5 million. So that seems like an awful lot for somebody that doesn't really know a lot about these types of projects. So can you break that down for us?
Right, well, this type of project being a complete rebuild of the pavement structure, those tend to be much more expensive. So it's not just the top layer of pavement that you normally see us doing. It's completely removing the existing pavement, rebuilding it up from sand and gravel, and then new pavement. So yes, it is more expensive and right in line with what we generally see for a cost of this project type.
Now, how long is the project expected to last? I've seen a date of sometime right before July 4th weekend or so.
Right. So the project will begin April 5th is when the work will start out here. The detour itself will probably go into effect a week later on April 12th. And then we're scheduled to be back open to traffic on the road prior to July 1st. The project then will continue it through July, but the work will be such that it's more restoration type things that can occur with traffic on US 23.
So we know that April is pretty much a rainy time during in Michigan. How does weather impact projects like this?
Well, it's something we have to account for. So when we develop our project schedules during design, we usually account for several days of rain or whatnot. And really the earlier work that we're doing isn't as impacted by rain because it's more removal type stuff. When we get into paving, that'll be later into May and in June when the weather is usually nicer.
And you said that detour will probably start around April 12th. So what is that? What would be the alternate routes that folks would have to take?
So the detour will start in Harrisville at the M72 intersection. So folks that are traveling through or intending to travel through, meaning they're not destined for a location within the project area, they'll be expected to follow the detour. So turning west onto M72 and then north onto Barlow Road and F41 and returning to US 23 at the north end. And then the southbound direction would just take the opposite route. But local traffic, those accessing homes, going to patron a local business, will be allowed into the work area and accommodated.
And so we were talking about just the detour itself. So what do you take into account when you try to come up with an alternate route? Is it the least amount of impact, or do you take into consideration feedback from residents and businesses? How do you determine those alternate routes?
Very often it's determined by the type of project that we're doing. So in this case, with it being a complete reconstruction, we would have to probably temporarily widen out the roadway in order to keep traffic on it. In this case, by detouring, we can really rip and tear with the construction, for lack of a better term, while maintaining, kind of a lesser surface for that local traffic. Having the majority of traffic, the through traffic, not in the project area and taking a detour really allows us to expedite or quicken that construction. And then in this case, enables us to open US 23 prior to July, which is the peak of the tourism season.
Yeah, certainly is. So how do you start the project? So do you just start, is it just pulling up the current surface? What starts the first part of the project?
Usually, actually, there's work that folks are seeing right now with some utility relocations. That's not technically part of the project, but it's work that has to happen initially. That first week will probably be mostly things like stripping back topsoil, clearing some trees that need to come out, installing construction signing, that kind of thing. Then once the detour is in place, that's when the first order of work will essentially be removals. So removing that pavement structure.
Now, what was some of the feedback that you got? I know that, folks have been voicing their concerns. What is some of the general feedback that you've gotten from residents and businesses that will be impacted during this time?
Well, initially, when we first announced the project was going to happen, that was back in July of last year, there was quite a bit of concern from local businesses and homeowners of being able to access their business or home. Since that time, we've been had very deliberate communication with business owners, with homeowners. We have a project stakeholder email list that we are regularly providing updates to it, and the comfort level with the project seems to have increased substantially. There are still concerns, and they're legitimate concerns about businesses potentially having lesser business because folks aren't driving by as often, but we feel that we've done everything we can to accommodate those needs by maintaining local traffic and expediting the project so that the road is open for that peak tourism season.
Now, how do you reduce the noise? Do you anticipate noise level? I know that comes with construction, depending on the type of heavy equipment and things of that nature. So how will that impact, say, residents in the area? Is there going to be a certain noise level that they can anticipate that would increase?
If there's a noise ordinance in the area, then the contractor is required to follow it. But it's construction, it's road construction. When they're working, it's going to be noisy. We're not expecting night work, so we should be able to comply with any noise ordinance in the area. But it is road construction. There's heavy equipment on site. Folks that live or have businesses along the corridor should expect noise during the day.
Well, we're going to continue our conversation, Gary. We have a couple more questions to ask you about this project. We'll take a quick break and we'll be right back right after this.
Insights will return after these messages.
Welcome back to Insights. We're continuing our conversation with Garrett Dahl with the Michigan Department of Transportation, talking about this rebuild on US 23 that's kicking off in just a couple hours or so. In terms of the hours of operation, when can folks expect to see workers out here during the construction?
Well, as I previously noted, we have an expedited schedule, which means we're requiring the contractor to work as much as possible to get the road open early. So folks should expect basically dusk to dawn that they're going to see work happening out here.
Okay, dusk to dawn. And then I know earlier you mentioned about complying with city ordinance in terms of the noise level, so we can expect that as well.
Yes, if a noise ordinance exists.
Yeah. And this is always an important aspect of construction, is that making sure that drivers are actually paying attention and being aware of the safety in terms of we see workers on the road. What safety message do you have for us?
Well, everyone working on this project has the ultimate goal of going home.
Absolutely.
At the end of the work shift. And that's, of course, something that we always want to see happen. So I would ask folks that are either driving in the area or driving through the project to slow down, be very attentive to what's going on, follow the directions of a flag person or whoever else is giving you directions, and let's all get through this project safely. If someone, I also ask folks to be honest, and if you're truly a through traveler and you're not intending to stop anywhere on the project, please follow the detour.
So if you're just coming, say, north to south, is there an option, or because you say be honest about that? So
right. So what we don't want is through traffic trying to navigate their way all the way through the project. We want that to be designated to local traffic. So, for example, if you're intending to go to a restaurant that's within the project area, then you're absolutely allowed to come in. But if you're just planning to travel through on your way to Tawas or your way to Alpena, please follow the detour. That enables us to have our schedule maintained, and it keeps the work zone safer too.
And then during that, we're talking about safety again. I'm believing, or I'm guessing, do we reduce, is the speed limit, will there be a reduced speed limit coming through that area?
Yes, if you're coming into the project area, expect to encounter a reduced speed limit. Expect to encounter probably gravel surfaces. It certainly will not be a situation where you want to be driving fast. So it's going to take a little while to get through the construction zone, so please be patient and keep safety in mind.
Now, I know you said that road has needed some work on it. What about other parts of the area? Do you foresee other projects coming within this region? I know that's just about 2 miles, but do we anticipate any other projects down the road?
Yes, that's an excellent question. So the detour is quite a bit longer than the actual project length. So we're going to take advantage of that. Okay. And north of this project area, so north of Lakeshore Drive, we'll be doing some actual minor resurfacing through chip seals and asphalt resurfacing while the detour is in place. So that when the road is opened, actually folks will be on about probably 10 to 12 miles of brand new pavement. Okay.
Now, what will people actually see once this is all done? Will you have some type of grand reopening? I don't know if you do that with these types of construction projects, but what can folks get? Will it be a noticeable difference?
Well, the difference will be in the pavement condition that folks are driving on. We're not widening the road. The shoulders themselves will be slightly wider than they are now, which will enable us to install rumble strips on the shoulders, that kind of thing. But essentially, this job is aimed at improving the pavement condition, so that's what folks will notice most.
Okay, and then you say that $5 million investment. So what is the longevity of a project like this in terms of, so would this last another 25, 30 years? What is the estimated longevity?
Right, so with regular maintenance, we would expect this road to probably last 30 to 40 years. Okay. So really, yes, while this is going to be an impact this spring and into the early summer, you shouldn't see us in this capacity for a long time. Okay. So we think it's certainly worth that investment.
Okay, and then I guess the last question for you, Garrett, is there a website, or are there going to be regular updates for residents? Is there like a status update that folks can get from MDOT on this project?
Yep. Well, as I mentioned, through our previous public meetings, we've gathered a list of folks that are interested in getting email updates, which we're providing. We also may provide additional press releases based on what's going on. Sure. And then we also have a public-facing website called MyDrive, M-I-Drive, that has project information on it as well.
Okay, well, you've given us a great head start on this. I really appreciate you spending time with us today and giving us an update and the background on all of this, and we wish you a successful project.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Insights will return after these messages.
Welcome back to Insights. I'm joined now by Dr. Ben Dietrich. You are the president of the Alcona County Chamber of Commerce and also with Harrisville Eye Care.
Yes, I am.
Well, thanks for joining me today. Doctor, we know that the project, this road project, has been in the works for some time, but nevertheless, residents and businesses, I'm sure, have some concerns about it.
We definitely do have some concerns. this is just one more hurdle that our businesses have to overcome in an already difficult business climate.
Yeah, it's certainly been difficult with the pandemic, and but the Michigan Department of Transportation tells us that, you know, certainly they've tried to mitigate the disruption to businesses. But what have been some of the feedback from residents and businesses in the area? What have you heard being the president of the Chamber of Commerce?
Well, since it's going to be a pretty big shutdown, they are concerned that they may not get that through traffic that they're hoping to get. But we do want the community to know that our businesses are open, and even the businesses around are open. We just continue to hope that they support those businesses, even though there may be some inconvenience for those customers.
Now, is the Chamber offering any types of incentives for folks as they travel through to, hey, stop in, they're still open, although you see the construction signs, but the businesses are still open. Is there anything that the Chamber is doing to entice people to come in to support the local businesses?
Definitely. We have a new program this year. It's called the Alcona County Savings Passport, where they can purchase it and get these different coupons to different businesses to help with some savings for them.
Now, I know as leading up to the project, MDOT has held several public forums where residents can voice their concerns and ask questions about this. Do you think that's a good process in terms of letting your concerns be known about these types of road projects?
I think it is a great option because we do want to be in communication with MDOT to give them what we're concerned about, because we know these areas better than they may know it and how our businesses act and react. So it is nice. And they've tried to meet our requests and things as best as they can. We understand that they can't meet all those requests. So it is nice that they are in contact with us.
Yeah, so that's good that at least the lines of communication have certainly been open with a project of this nature.
Definitely.
Yeah. So what is the business climate like here in this area anyway? We know that certainly COVID has impacted businesses all across the country, but how have businesses been doing or faring during this time in your region?
Well, that's an interesting thing with COVID, is that some of our businesses are just so overly busy, where others are so restricted, like our restaurants, that it's some do really well and some are really struggling. So I think the restaurants are the ones that need the biggest help, but all of our businesses need support from the community and our tourists.
Yeah. So were you guys surprised to learn of this project, that it was coming down the pike?
Well, we had known about it for a couple years, but it definitely hits a little bit harder after a season of COVID.
Yeah. You know, the reality of it starts to set in. So the projected date obviously is April 5th, so just another couple hours actually. And then the detour, from what we understand from MDOT, will actually start around April 12th. And one of the things that MDOT certainly wanted to stress is that the safety issue. What safety message do you have for drivers as they're coming through here, that we're really looking out for those folks, our construction workers, to make sure that the drivers as well as our construction workers stay safe?
I think just taking it slow. It will be a big construction zone, so the slower they take it, the safer it can be.
Yeah, to really follow the safety signs. What other message would you have for the businesses during this time? As we said, it's been a difficult season with COVID. Now you have construction, but what type of message do you have being the president of the Chamber of Commerce here?
That our community should continue to shop local. I think we're important to our local economy. We lift everybody up, so try to support us and we can continue to support the community.
Now, do you see more businesses coming into the area down the road? I know chambers of commerce across the country are doing what they can to support the small businesses. You have this new savings program, the passport program. Any other things that you have in the works in the next couple years?
We're hoping to get back to our local events also, our Wine and Food Festival and our 4th of July's and all that sort of thing. Hopefully this year we can do all of those and even do them better than what we've done them in the years past.
Yeah, so you're hoping to have something for the 4th of July, is that right?
Yes.
Now, what is that like?
In the past, we've done the fireworks.
Okay, yeah, for
and
sure.
we also did our duck race, which was right down here where they dropped 3,000 ducks in the pond and they raced down to Lake Huron, which is a really fun event. And we also did the children's parade down Main Street in Harrisville. Also in Barton City, they have some great fireworks over there. So we do have quite a bit going on, and we're going to hope to keep making them even better.
So when will you be able to make those decisions? Are you anticipating that as the summer months, as we head that way? Do you anticipate that those will be activities that you will actually be able to offer to the community?
Yes, at this point we're planning on keeping those together. The ones that the chambers are controlling, we plan on keeping those. at this point, we can't say for sure, but we're working that we will be doing that.
But you're optimistic, okay. Well, in the last couple minutes that we do have, Dr. Dietrich, is there any place where folks can go to get information about joining the chamber, supporting the local businesses? Where would you like people to go so that they can stay up to date on your chamber projects as well as on this MDOT construction project? Definitely.
We have a website, alconacountychamber.com. They can see all of our different information, our events, and how to join the chamber and what the chamber is all really about.
Okay, all right. Well, Dr. Dietrich, I want to thank you for spending time with us today. We're hoping that the project will not be so disruptive. We know that it's necessary, but we're hoping that everyone stays safe throughout this whole process.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. That does it for this week's episode. If you have a question, comment, or story idea, we'd love to hear from you. You can email us at news@wbkb11.com. I'm Sherry Stewart. Thank you for watching and have a great week.
Insights into Northeast Michigan is produced by WBKB News. This has been a production of Thunder Bay Broadcasting Corporation. All rights reserved.